I'm trying this out. Yesterday I was at another Lawson station on the other side, just on the other side. So let's see if I wonder where I could sit that doesn't draw to any or too much attention. Maybe here. I've got myself a can of Wanda Morning Shot. Usually I've been getting the black coffee, but I decided to get this instead. Hey, and you can see my full softypapa regalia. This is me, except for that I'm wearing my cold hat. This is me with all my gear, ready for the mountains. But let's just sit and hold a breath off my backpack. Take out my headphones too. I like this. This is pretty nice setup. So the way I do this when I'm out doing my urban exploration, I could do this with hiking anywhere, is I operate like a samurai, with the samurai with their double swords. But I have two phones. This is my main phone that I'm broadcasting with right now. And then I have my second phone that I'm using as peripheral stuff. So this is my old iPhone 11 that I had before I moved to Japan. And when I decided I was going to move to Japan, I very deliberately decided that I was not going to have a computer, that I would simply do everything off of a phone. So I bought a brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max to be my primary device. Put my wallet away. And I almost turned in my iPhone 11 Pro Max. You know, they would have given me like $150 for it. But then I thought, maybe I can make good use of it in Japan, like an auxiliary device. And it's turned out it's been really helpful. So for example, what I do is I wake up very early every morning. Let me have my coffee. Ooh, nice and warming on the hands. Shake it up. Don't worry, it won't explode. Oh, and when you shake it, the warmth really comes through. Cheers. Kanpai. So here's how I'm using the two phones. The phone that you're seeing this on right now is my primary device. And when I wake up in the morning, I wake up very early every morning. 4 a.m. is my normal wake up time. This morning I was up earlier than that. I was up around 3:45, just eager to start the day. And when I wake up, I spend usually from 4 a.m. until 5 a.m. doing what I call my morning routine, which consists mainly of engaging in social media. So I go through all of the different social media venues that I've got: Facebook page, Instagram, LinkedIn, and very importantly, YouTube. And I answer all comments on those. I can usually do it at this point. I can usually answer everything in comments. In fact, I'm quite proud of myself on YouTube. And then what I do is, YouTube is the last one that I do. And then I answer all the comments that have come in the last 24 hours. And then what I do is I hit the mark of in the past where I didn't answer comments from years ago, and I answer 2 comments from the past. And I've been doing that for a long time, and I've been able to slowly eat my way backwards in time, such that now I'm to the point that I'm 5 years in. I've answered every comment that's ever come into my channel for the last 5 years, and then so when I hit that 5-year mark, I then answer 2 more. These are like answering from years and years ago, and then I'm done with that. And then when I'm done with that, I put on all my adventure gear, grab my pack, and then what I do is I have this phone that I'm talking to you on in my front left pocket. The iPhone 11, goes in my back pocket, and this is the one that's set up. It's got the gear, the kickstand. I can use it for all kinds of things. Like if I want to do a quick shot of me walking past, I can put this on the ground, shuffle on by, and then later I can use the AirPod thing or the air connection thing, right? And then send the video across to there. Excuse me. It's cold. So once I have that once that's all in place, then I begin my day. I head out into the day. So I'm usually out the door. I've already got by 5 a.m. I've got all my comments, all my engagement is done on social media. I have a thing of natto, which is Japanese fermented beans, and I zip that up and wolf that down real quick. I have a cup of coffee at home while I'm doing my comments, and then I'm out the door at 5 a.m. and walking. Very, very brisk walking. So I've got my AirPods. I pop them in. I turn the Bluetooth off on the main device that you're on right now, so that it won't interfere with this. Then I connect the Bluetooth up to this. This is on my back pocket, and I've got a playlist on this. Remember, this phone is not connected to the Japanese system. This one is. In fact, this one is still connected to the American system, and I'm doing that deliberately. I'm keeping my American phone connected to my American system until the house is purchased. The reason that that's important is that I still have connections to financial institutions, my pension fund, which is another financial institution, all kinds of online services, my various YouTube channels, and they have two-factor authentication. And I learned my lesson when I came from Japan to America. I didn't keep my Japanese phone when I moved, and I wound up in a real tricky situation with some of my online services that were sending two-factor authentication codes to my Japanese phone number, which was no longer operational. And I really had to jump through a lot of hoops to fix that. Before I came over to Japan this time, I made sure and I created a nice spreadsheet, two spreadsheets actually, one spreadsheet for financial institutions, another spreadsheet for online services, and I went through each of them and set them up with two-factor authentication. I then set up the authenticator app. I chose one authenticator app, and I cleaned off all authenticator apps on both phones. I chose one, and I started from scratch, and I went through every single service that offered authenticator app utilization, and I got it set up on both. So one for an error, one for a spare, right? So even if I lose a phone, I have one phone, or it dies or breaks or falls in the sea, I've got the second phone with all the authenticator app. But that's not enough. I still want to make sure that the two-factor authentication will work. So I'm keeping this American phone alive until, basically my main criteria is until the house is purchased. I'm confident now that all my YouTube accounts are set up to use both two-factor authentication to authenticator app, and I've already set up all of my, this phone has a Japanese phone number. I've set up all my accounts to use the Japanese phone number for two-factor authentication, but I'm paranoid. Like, what if, for example, I let this phone go and one of the banks that I'm using to facilitate the purchase of the house tries to send me a code to the old number. I missed one, right? Damn it. And then I'm stuck because I can't authenticate. So I'm not letting go of this thing. It only cost me $55 a month to keep my old account alive. So I'm just paying $55 a month to T-Mobile back in the United States to keep this thing going. Anyway, that was a long segue. But basically what I do is this thing I turn off. I put it in airplane mode when I'm in Japan. This thing's in airplane mode all the time, and all I use it for is two things. One, it drives music, which is really handy because this means that this device is totally free. I can be walking along in the morning, rocking out to my techno playlist. I want to make a YouTube short. I whip this phone out, pop it up, do it, and there's no audio interference. And the fact that I have these in my ears means that it's not picking up the audio, because this device, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, has superior audio capability, better than this. So I don't want it to pick enough audio from this, which is muffled under my thing and under my hoodie and all that. It's a system, and it's a system that works really well. I'm very pleased with it. And man, this coffee's good. I've graduated. I told Yumiko yesterday, my wife, I'm gonna give up just drinking black coffee all the time because I'm gonna be dead in a decade or two. And what's the fun in that? I see a couple of questions. Let me get my old man glasses on. These are cheap glasses. They're plastic, 1.5 magnification. This one's all scratched up. This eye here is getting cataracts. I had cataract on this eye about a year ago, and I got surgery. Bang, I had 20/20 vision again. Now I got a cataract on this age, so I'm all stink-eyed again. I got some comments here. Bob says, hi Kurt, have you explored the mountains just north of Shizuoka, Shimizu? Oh, you betcha. I have a whole channel dedicated to that. And right over there. I could walk to the foot of them in 20 minutes from where I am right now. But more particularly, probably, you're referring to the immediate mountains. So the way I describe it is that there are 3 layers. There's the immediate mountains right behind Shizuoka, which is the one you're referring to. Then there's the near mountain, the near Alps, the near, it's basically the between land between the close mountains and the deep Japan Southern Alps. So to your point, Bob, I typically, when I was softypapa 1.0, I typically explored the middle ground. I went through the near mountains that you're referring to, so probably to more honestly answer your question, not really, because I would usually drive through those areas to get to the between area, which is like 30, 45 minutes out. And then if you drive another 30 minutes out, you reach the edge of the Japan Southern Alps, which I've almost never explored in any of my videos, but I will have a chance to do so now. So to be more fair and honest to your question, probably the answer should be kind of, sort of, maybe. The closest that on my channel that you'll find to that are the videos that I'm explicitly, this is from softypapa 1.0, when I'm specifically referring to Yui, the fishing village of Yui, because when I go to Yui, I don't drive. I take the train there, and then the JR train, and then I walk into the mountains, and it's like you go right behind Yui, and it's the immediate mountains you're referring to. There are also some videos that I have in the area of Mount Buso that are also relevant to that. So, but I'll be doing more of that going forward, because that's an area that's very interesting and remains largely unexplored by me for all the aforementioned reasons. Okay, another question or comment. Hey everybody, good morning to you, or whatever it is. Boogerman, shout out to my coach, Gabe Owner. Happy birthday. Hey, happy birthday, Gabe. That's a heck of a name you got there, Boogerman. My neighbor Totoro. Hey, I know you. Hey Kurt, I'm watching from work. Hope everything goes well. Going well. It is going well, especially, thank you for asking, and welcome, it's good to see you. It's interesting, I'm kind of working on my mind a little bit to switch gears, because I've been in house buying mode, and I ran into a big hurdle yesterday. It's not insurmountable by any means, it's a silly thing. I ran into a hurdle yesterday. So to buy the house, we have to come up with the final payment by the 29th of January. And so I've already explained this in some of the videos, so I won't try to belabor the point and repeat myself, but we decided to move the money because there's financial transactions limits. You can only bring over like $50,000 in one fell swoop. So we decided to break it up into 2 transactions and bring it over and then over again. And I forgot that the remittance service requires 4 days between such transactions, which isn't a big deal, because that means basically we can't finish everything until next week on Thursday. The only danger is that the yen exchange rate might become less favorable. It's really good right now. It's 158 right now, and I was hoping to get the second transaction in with that rate. So the only thing that might be a bugaboo is we might lose the rate, which is fine. I mean, I had planned everything for the house purchase at a yen exchange rate of 135. So if it's at 160, at 158, and even if it drops down to 140 or even 135, it's still within range. It's all gravy, basically. So long story short, what that means is that I'm working to transition my mind, because my mind has been fully focused on house buying, and I'm switching gears and saying, okay, well, if I can't, I'm using my principles of the Good Life Creed to say, recognize what is and what is not within the scope of my control. It's not within the scope of my control to control the remittance services policies regarding money, transactions. It's just not. So there's no sense in me being concerned about having to wait 4 days. which is still going to be fine because I'll still have 2 full weeks after that to make sure that I have all the funds in place to make the final purchase. And it's not within my control to control the exchange rate. I have no control over that. So instead, I'm going to divorce myself from those worries and find something else to focus on, which namely is the development, the establishment of new and improved life routines in this new life paradigm of retirement in Japan. And that's exactly what I'm working on right now. So long-winded answer to a very to-the-point question. Thank you. And I see another question here, or comment. Hello from Ralph Jones. Hello. And R-A-N asks, what does natto taste like? I want to try it. Natto, R-A-N, is a curious thing. And by the way, if you can let me know how the audio sounds, I'd appreciate it. Natto is a very curious thing. I would have to say that it's as much texture, and others who have more a keener sense of smell would tell me smell. It's texture, smell, and in my mind, to a lesser degree, taste. It's kind of got a, if I say fermented, what does fermented taste like? Okay, if you would imagine what fermented tastes like, it tastes like that. It's kind of got it's not sweet, it's not sour, maybe a little bit of touch of sour. It depends on the variety that you get. I will tell you this, the higher the quality of the natto, typically the more subtle the taste. At the supermarket here, you can get natto in 3 serving packs. The cheap end of the scale would be about 88 yen. That natto tastes like a fast food cheeseburger or hamburger without any toppings. No ketchup or mustard, very plain and kind of biting. It's got kind of a biting texture. The beans feel firmer. If you up your game, up your natto game, and you get the 110 yen pack with the 3, you're jumping from 88 yen to 110 yen. Oh, what is that? 12, 20 yen or something like 18 yen, whatever it is. It's a much more fine dining experience with natto. It's the natto, for one, when you're stirring it, it doesn't take as much effort to get it mixed up, because what you do is you open the pack, and then you take there's 2 things. You take the little plastic lid off, and there's like a thing of natto sauce, and there's a thing of, I think it's karashi, which is like a mustard. I don't like the mustard. If you add the mustard, then the taste is mustard. I don't like that. So I just take the lid off, and then I put the karashi sauce in there, mix it up. And I just do that because it kind of lubricates it. And then you've got it's really, really good. So it's worth the extra 20 yen-ish for the 3-pack for that fine natto dining experience, definitely. There is one brand out there, I wish I could remember which one, that has the mechanism is different. You take the lid off, and all you do is you squeeze the lid has this perforated, and it breaks, and it has 2 pouches in there, and the natto sauce just pours right in. It's clever design. If you're not careful, it'll make a little bit of a mess. Let's see, I hope that answered your question. Audio is okay for me. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate the feedback. Stanley Petland says, hi, new here. Welcome, Stanley. I'm really glad that you're here. I hear someone coming, so I'm gonna... People are starting to filter in. I have to be careful. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. I'm at Lawson Station at Kusanagi. You can see there's this is a little dining area here, and I don't want to make people uncomfortable. Stanley says, audio is perfectly level, not loud or low. Wow, that's great. Hallelujah to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Yep, nobody there. Okay. My neighbor Totoro adds, I'm listening on earbuds and it sounds clear and fine. I can even hear the doors opening in the background. Really? That's great. You can kind of see the store. Oh, there's people. There's a schoolgirl. So that schoolgirl that we just got a glimpse of, she probably goes to the school where I used to work, which is just around the corner. So I think she's one of my, if I hadn't left Japan, it's 100% likely that she would have been my student at one time. Isn't it strange that way? Life is. Okay, So, what's in store for today? I'll wrap this up. So today, it's around 6:12 a.m. right now. I've already been out walking for about 45 minutes. Like I showed you before, I've got my backpack here. And it's not that I need it, it's just that I'm using these morning walks as training for the mountain adventures. I've got my gloves. Basically, I have all my gear. Probably within a couple of weeks, I'll be ready to start going to the mountains. I really want to hold off doing anything like that until the house is purchased. I'll share with you guys one other really, for me, a very interesting consideration that I realized in the last 48 hours. Buying this house, namely, getting the money into our Japanese bank account, is the last serious adult thing that I need to do. Someone's arrived, so I gotta quiet down. The reason that that's the case is that once the money's here, I don't have anything to do, really. It's all in my wife's hands. She'll take care of the completing the purchase. I just kind of sit there and smile and nod. And I realized after that was done, when I thought about that, and I'm the one that always does all the finance stuff on the American side. And so I'm the one getting the money over and taking care of that and taxes and everything. My daughter's raised. She's off on her own, taking care of herself. She doesn't need us that much anymore. Hardly at all. My career's done. We'll have a house, a car. There's not much left. Gulp. See the gulp? It's scary. There's not much left that's of necessity that I need to do in life at age 60. That's why it's important now that I use this time wisely, because if I'm not careful, I'll fall into a hole. And I see it. Now that I'm free in my days and I walk the dogs in the afternoon, I see so many older men and women just tracing out their footsteps in their old age, waiting on the undertaker. You get the point. Question here was, are you enjoying retirement? Finn Speckax. So far, it's been busier than when I was working, but that's just because we're getting settled in a new life. But here, it's a complicated thing to answer without trying to sound too dramatic or philosophical. I'll tell you this, the honeymoon stage of retirement lasts about 2 weeks. It's about the same amount of time that a vacation would last. And then it kind of starts to wear off, and you realize that whatever baggage you enter retirement with is still there. Whatever unresolved issues or challenges or holes in one's life, if they haven't been patched up or addressed prior to retirement, you'll have to work on them still. All retirement does is it gives you less of a distraction, which can be a really scary thing, because work can be a very good distraction if you don't want to face down, or you're not ready to face down those things that have yet to be done. I hope that answers the question. With that, guys, I'm going to sign off. There's someone here, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. Anyway, it's time for me to head back in. So let me put my I'll be quiet. Put my backpack on. You can see all that, and then I'll head out, and we'll stop this when I get outside. Okay. Okay, that was our time in Lawson Station on the, I believe this is the south exit, Kusanagi. This is, here, I'll switch, can I switch the camera around? I think I can. Or I just leave this run. Hold on, take my glove off. So this is Kusanagi Station. You can see the sun is starting to come up. Right over there, there's a police box. Here, I'll take you guys through the station. That's the Lawson Station that I was just in. Oh, hey, Bobcat. Nice comment. I've been scrolling a lot today. This better be good. I'll do my best. There's Lawson Station. Here's the JR station right here. I don't want to make people uncomfortable, so I'll sit here for just a second. The wind isn't so biting now that I've had that time. It's starting to, lots of people are starting to filter into the station. Okay, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to walk us through the station like I'm looking at my phone. I can't give you guys the front view. That'll be too obvious and conspicuous. I'll lift the phone up as I go. Who needs the escalator? Let's take the stairs. I particularly like the sounds, the ambient sounds of the dings and the dongs and all the rest. Greetings from the UK. Hey, Steve. Greetings from Kusanagi. This is Kusanagi Station. It's one of the bigger stations in the Shizuoka area. If you're rolling through on the main JR trunk line, it's also the Shinkansen, the bullet train passes right below. If we get lucky, maybe we'll see one. Here's the tracks down below. Can you see Mount Fuji? Can you see Mount Fuji through the window there? It's right over there. Here's all the stuff and the tracks and the stuff. We'll go down. This is called the North Gakuen entrance down here. We'll turn it around. Gakuen means the school entrance. And the school that it's referring to is the school where I used to work. And where my friend Molly still works. Still early in the morning. This will all be just bustling with people in half an hour. You can see the North Gakuen exit. Elevator. Here's a little map of the area. Okay. This is a bank building here. This was built just not too long ago. Here's the Lawson Station where I've been coming the last 2 mornings. I might come there alternate. Now that there's a Lawson Station on both sides, I might start coming to both of them. Alternate one to the other. And here's the dawn. And the school that I used to work at is just right over there. Used to be that the kids had to, before they built this entrance, the kids would come here and they would go all the way around to a tunnel. They don't have to do that now. And maybe if you've heard me talk about how I used to be a tunnel troll when I worked at that place, that school, 7 o'clock to 7:25 a.m., I would stand there, rain, sun, snow, whatever. Well, no snow, once. And guard the kids, make sure the kids pass safely under that tunnel with all the bicycles zipping by. I don't have to, whoever took my place at that school does that now, not me. Here's my school, but I'm not gonna show you the school. I'll tell you the name to preserve the privacy. After all, Molly still works there, so keep it between me and the camera. And with that, Happy New Year, all. Hi, says Fiddle Spawn. That's a heck of a name. Okay, guys, I think this is a good spot for me to stop. This is the bullet train tracks right overhead, by the way. I think this is a good place for me to stop. And just if you're curious how close the school is to the bullet train, that's the school where I used to work, and that's the bullet train. So literally from the 3rd floor, you can sit there and just watch the bullet train zip by all day long. I'm gonna stop for now. We'll see you again. I'll have this live going again tomorrow. Lots of little clips throughout the day. I have a very ambitious day ahead of me. Really beginning to go at life with gusto now. I think as I close in on the 1 month mark back in Japan, it's time for me to get over the getting over part and get on with the getting on part. So I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me.